Hi guys, today we're starting a new series, North Node in Sagittarius. I found the craziest shirt in my closet, so that would represent Sagittarian energy. So let's go. Before we dive into each house to see what we're working with here, let's talk about your South Node in Gemini. So you guys with the South Node in Gemini, you guys are my writers, you guys are my speakers, you guys are my communicators, my salespeople, my intellectuals, my why not philosophers, people who have mastered the art of communication in all its forms, written, oral, whatever communication there is. You get the idea. You guys are great at that. You guys, nobody can out-talk a Gemini South Node unless you have Gemini planets. So Gemini energy is great. Gemini energy loves variety. It's very curious. So you inside of you, there's this innate curiosity about everything. There's you want to know about everything, and you pride yourself on knowing a little bit about everything or a lot about everything. What else? You guys, there was a lot of lifetimes where there was a lot of thinking involved, a lot of decision, a lot of gathering information. You guys are my scribes. You guys are the people, in Game of Thrones, the guy that was every kingdom had a guy that kept track of everything, of all the history and everything. That's you guys, people that dealt with information, disseminating information, collecting information, passing it down in all kinds of forms. So you're great at that. Great salespeople, great, great storytellers, great jokesters. You guys are those, great humor, great sense of humor. Nobody can pull the wool over your eyes because you guys have done that yourself in many lifetimes. So now, if we talk about the bad part, because since the Gemini is in the South Node, that means you guys kind of went to the extreme with these ideas of communication. So what do I mean by that? Gemini South Nodes, you guys are my con artists, you guys are my tricksters, you guys are my imposters, you guys are my used car salesmen, you guys are the ones that, propaganda, fake news, the yellow press, all those ideas where information was misused, it was disseminated in ways that was not honest. You guys are, let's just say it. You guys are very good at telling lies. You guys are very good at twisting the truth. You guys are, like I said, very good at, talking people into buying stuff they don't need. You're very good at manipulating people with information or withholding information. But basically, at the end of the day, and the crazy part is that you, part of you is afraid in a sense of getting tricked. Because you've done it yourself, you're very wary of people around you. And you're always kind of worried about somebody pulling the wool over your eyes. So you kind of don't really trust people that much because you're so scared that somebody's going to lie to you or somebody's going to, con you into something. So you're very cautious about that. But the beauty is that if you are attracting people like that in your life, they're here to show you parts of yourself because there is a con man inside of you. So once you accept that, then you won't attract people like that. What else? Gemini South Nodes, fun people that did a lot of thinking, did a lot of weighing, did a lot of logical. Your mind is very logical. Your mind is, Gemini can be light-hearted, but if it's in the South Node, it can also be a lot of thinking, a lot of mental, constantly the mind is racing. You can never relax. You're always thinking about this and thinking about that and thinking the worst and maybe expecting the worst. Your mind plays tricks on you because your mind is very powerful, always telling you stories. So now with North Node in Sagittarius, the beauty of it is that you need to get away from so much thinking and get into doing. Because Sagittarius doesn't think. Sagittarius just experiences. Sagittarius is the liver of life. Sagittarius doesn't hesitate. He just goes. If he needs to jump, he jumps. And then later he realizes maybe he shouldn't have done that. And that's the beauty of Sagittarian, is that he doesn't hesitate, you know. And you guys, with so many lifetimes of thinking, of always weighing options, of always collecting data, of always thinking, if I just had a little bit more information, I could make the right decision. And that always stopped you. It stopped you from living your life because you're always in your head. You guys are a lot of times in your head. There's a lot of tension in your head. And a lot of times I would say, because you're so active, because that mind's always spinning, sometimes you guys may resort to, you know, things like alcohol, drugs to kind of relax, to calm you down. Nothing wrong with that. You know, all the things that I mentioned, they're tools. They're tools to kind of help you out, because sometimes your mind is just drives you crazy. So with Sagittarius North Nodes, you guys are here to experience. You guys are here to shut your mind and just do what it is that you want to do, because your heart wants to experience. Your heart is done collecting information. Your heart is done thinking about it, pondering, analyzing. You guys love to analyze because you're so afraid to make a mistake. So with Sagittarius, you're just here to do it. You're here to experience it. You're here to find your own truth, because Gemini South Nodes, you guys have twisted the truth. You guys lied. You guys lied to a lot of people, you know, mass people in the form of propaganda or one-to-one relationships. You guys were my imposters that kind of told people what they wanted to hear. You know, the players, you know, romantically, you guys were like that. You know what to say to the other person to get them to do what you want them to do. You're brilliant at that, and you can literally, because you can talk so much about everything, you can literally drive the other person crazy, and they'll just say, okay, fuck it, I'll buy it, whatever, just stop. So so yeah, God forbid the wrong person ends up in your hands. You know, you will you do whatever you want with them, because you're good at manipulating people with your words. So yeah, so with Sagittarian, it's going to be important to find your truth. Sagittarius is not a liar. Sagittarius is very honest, sometimes too honest, but that's going to be the most important thing for you in this lifetime, is to find that truth, your inner truth, not so much from here, but from here, and follow it and act on it and speak it, you know, but speak it honestly, even sarcastically, even if it's going to upset people, you know, because you're always used to kind of smoothing things over to benefit you or to benefit the situation. And so now you're here to not be that way. You're here to kind of say, this is what I think, and this is the truth, and I don't care if I lose all of you guys. I don't care if you guys, nobody likes me, but I don't care, because I'm alive like this. You're here to be alive, because Sagittarian is a perfect example of just being alive, being in the moment, and acting on your instincts, and acting on that drive, that fire that you have within you. All right, so now let's go through the houses and see exactly kind of ideas that we are that you'll be working with in this lifetime. Okay? Okay. North Node in Sagittarius in the second house. Before we talk about that, let's talk about your South Node in Gemini in the 8th, and what does that mean? So here's how I see Gemini in the 8th in the South Node. You guys are very comfortable with talking, thinking, writing about uncomfortable situations, taboo situations, problematic situations, people's drama and all that. You have no problem discussing anything. You have no problem verbalizing things that some people could never utter. You know, you have no problem. It's almost like you're looking at, because 8th house is what? It's people's pain, it's people's drama, it's people's resources, their money, their bodies, their emotions, all the stuff that you know, it's their depth. So in your case, because Gemini is there, you almost have this logical approach to all these subjects. You know, you don't see anything wrong with laughing at a funeral, which is okay if you want to, no big deal. You see nothing wrong about slut shaming somebody. You see nothing wrong about anything that some people could be uncomfortable about talking or speaking up. You have no problem saying, yeah, I fucked 100 girls or whatever, I did this and this. So you're very comfortable with talking about things that are taboo, things that are inappropriate, maybe things that would, you know, make some people uncomfortable. You have no problem with that. And you know, you probably had, the good thing about that, you know, you had lifetimes where you could have been like a therapist, somebody who, like a sex therapist, or somebody who wrote, you know, sex novels or something where you really you spoke about that. And you know, like the lady that wrote 50 Shades of Grey, that would be good, because she spoke about the idea of BDSM in a novel that kind of, you know, got everybody excited and everybody's sex lives improved. That's the good part about it. The bad part about Gemini in the 8th is that Because you were so detached from the idea of people's pain and emotions and all of that stuff, you had no problem, you know, hurting others through that. So the thing that comes to my mind would be paparazzi. You know, these are the guys that are always there waiting to capture the photo where the person is looking their worst. Usually they like those photos because those pay the most money. And you have no problem publicizing somebody's pain. That's how I'm gonna say it. So paparazzi, people that have no problem, you know, let's say just being pushy and getting that picture, and even though, like, let's say the celebrity's like sitting there and she's like crying, please leave me alone and stuff, you have no problem. You had no barriers between somebody's pain and they're uncomfortable, and you're like, no, I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna make money, I don't care. So you're very logical about that, and you had no problem about writing about it, and maybe sometimes even lying about it. You know, things like the National Enquirer, things like all these magazines that we see on the stands where you know, a lot of those are fabricated lies, you know, but people buy them. And so you're one of those people, in a sense, that just publicized something that was could be considered as traumatic, you know, but in your eyes it was like money, cha-ching. So there was that separation, that logical approach. Another one could be slander as well. You know, let's say you are, if we're talking about sex, you know, you could be you had no problem being, let's say, a pickup artist or somebody who used people, because, you know, 8th house is your house of other people's resources. So let's say sexually used people and then you wrote about it as a bragging rights, you know, something like that. Once again, you know, they're in pain, they're hurting, they're ashamed, but you have no problem about it because you're like, well, I got to do my article or whatever, things like that. What else could be propaganda? You know, 8th house is the house of death, you know, a lot of just, you know, death, destruction. So propaganda, mass propaganda that destroyed people's lives. You know, I'm thinking about, you know, during Nazi Germany, the thick propaganda that was there, that was showing one thing, but actually this is what was happening, you know. So that kind of idea, you know, information was misused, and that led to a lot of death and pain and all that stuff. So once again, Gemini in the 8th. What else could be? 8th house is also the house of other people's money. So it could be Ponzi schemes again, you know, manipulating information and using people's resources to benefit, you know. So lying about things, lying about numbers, lying about profits, whatever. And having no problem with that, not seeing anything wrong with that, you know. So basically it would be disseminating information that could be hurtful to others, but in your case you didn't see it like that. You saw it as like, well, it's benefiting me, so I don't care. But it had to do with information, some kind of, you know, maybe things. Another one that I'm thinking would be great for this, like Jerry Springer's show, you know, where people come out and they talk about everything on the show, and they talk about trauma and all that, and maybe making money off of that, making fun of people like that, making it into a business, you know, people that do girlsgonewild.com, you know, the guy that capitalized on the idea that there's plenty of girls that will flash for money. And so in your case, it was like, on one hand, it's sexuality, and it's you know, something that is, you know, sacred, and you made it like, hell no, it's a fucking business, let's go, who's next in front of the camera, you're cute, things like that, you know. Awesome example, I love it. So you get the idea, you know, you treated 8th house issues with the complete logical approach, no guilt, nothing, no shame, just like, hey man, everything goes, let's go. You know, TMZ, prime example. TMZ would be prime example of Gemini in the 8th. You know, gossipy about drama, and the worse the better. If we can find a picture of Rihanna all beat up by Chris Brown, that's great. You know, that will get us clicks, that will get us, you know, you guys are the ones that pull out your cell phones when somebody's getting, you know, killed on the sidewalk. Instead of calling 911, you're pulling out your cell phone, filming it, putting it on your Facebook, and trying to get some likes. That's the idea. So now with North Node and Sagittarius in the 2nd, you're here to get away from other people's resources. You're here to get away from giving yourself life by manipulating other people's drama, you know, and to serve yourself, you know, and maybe lying about it or whatever. You're here to kind of focus on you, focus on your values, and looking at values that are authentic. You know, no more trying to make money through like shady ways. No more trying to you know, use others. You're here to kind of get away from others and get on your own 2 feet, but in a Sagittarius manner, you know. So you're here to be authentic. Once again, get away from lies, get away from these schemes, get away from all this, you know, lying, manipulating, all this, you know, fake news, all this stuff that like fucks with people's heads. Get away from that, you know. Second house Sagittarius is about earning money through, you know, liberating things, through even luck. You know, Sagittarius in the second can be very lucky. You know, you're here to be generous with your abundance, you know, because you could have a lot of money. And by making it through like authentic ways of expressing yourself, you know, maybe if you want to like write something, because you are great writers, write like an adventure story, you know, write like a book, and then that will get you people, you know. Try to get people, if you are communicating something, if you are writing something, make sure it's authentic, make sure it's the truth, make sure it's not based on somebody's pain, make sure it's like really, if your idea, something that you came out of nowhere and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna freaking write about this. And it can be anything. It can be a book, or it can be, just make sure that whatever information you're disseminating, it is truthful, it is honest, it's not fake, it's not elaborated, it's not photoshopped, it's nothing like that, you know, authenticity. So you're here to, your values have to change, you know, you have to kind of value freedom, you have to value people's privacy, you have to value people's lives, you know. Sagittarian is very freedom loving, so you need to find your own freedom and your own expression and your own authenticity, and then you should be able to do that with others. You should be able to, you know, encourage others to be like that, and like not use them anymore, but like, you know, feed them your enthusiasm, you know, because you have a lot of enthusiasm with you. You're here to experience life, experience it in so many ways, you know. Maybe don't even like, you know, teach something, you know. You great teachers. Sagittarius Gemini axis is great teachers, great communicators, great storytellers. So in the second with Sagittarius is like, you can make money in very easy ways, lucky ways. It doesn't have to involve trauma or drama. It can just be just something beautiful that you saw, or something that just got you fired up. You gotta get in touch with that fire inside of you, you know, and let it come out. And you'll know which ways to do that. You know, you can be like a travel person. You can travel the world and take pictures of that and put that on your Facebook or Instagram, and people will love you for that. You know, don't look for you know, traumatic stuff for people to notice, but look for stuff that's fun, that's liberating, that's exciting, that's authentic, that's crazy, that's like nobody else, and truthful, and yours, not anybody else's, but yours. And put that out there, and then get people inspired like that, because you're here to kind of share all of that with others, because you took so much, you know. You kind of made fun of people's trauma, made fun of their drama. I hope that makes sense, guys. Once again, Sagittarius North Node, get in touch with that fire inside of you, let it out, and it will show you the ways in which you can make money, and because it's going to have nothing to do with what you're used to. Okay, so all right, guys, talk to you soon.